60-plus year member of this community. I was a 1979 graduate of Georgetown High School, and my two boys were also graduates of GREA. I am a volunteer. That is pretty much my whole life. I retired from a 40-year career as an X-ray technologist at what ended up being OSF Sacred Heart. I was there through 5 name changes. I was instructor to X-ray students, so I pumped out about 80 classes of future X-ray technologists. I am the Ladies Club president here in town. I'm a fire board trustee with the Fire and Ambulance Department. I play bingo with the seniors on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week since I retired. I hold a chair exercise class for seniors on Friday mornings just to keep them a little bit more agile. We don't want anybody falling. I'm not working at the hospital, so I can't take care of them anymore. The reason I'm running for school board is, again, I am a volunteer. I'm very loyal to this community. I take a lot of pride in this particular town and I was part of the mural committee. We were all about beautifying, making some history stand out over the years. So I want to help the struggles of the parents and the children. I want to listen and try to find answers that work for both sides. I want to be a good steward of our tax dollars and make good decisions on how to spend those tax dollars. I have opinions and I can think for myself, so I'm not a strictly vote by everybody's decision. I'm not just a yes vote. I just have a very big heart when it comes to the kids and the families in this town, so that's kind of my reason.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy?
Okay.
You could use the microphone if you want.
Okay. I'd rather not, if that's okay.
I think you're kind of using it anyway.
Probably.
Go ahead.
Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Jeremy Spessard. I've lived in the Georgetown Ridge Farm community my entire life. I was raised in a farm family on my mother's side and a blue-collar family on my father's. I spent much of my childhood on that farm, participating in athletics right here in this school district. I, along with my wife of 19 years, Sarah Spessard, graduated from this district, and we have 2 daughters who are currently students, Ashlyn Spessard and Madeline Spessard. I'm very involved in my children's lives, from coaching extracurriculars, getting to know their classmates, volunteering at school functions and job fairs. I've been a board member since 2016, and I'm extremely proud of the progress this district has made on many levels. All while maintaining a balanced budget each year, we've been able to bring back staff, give back to employees through negotiations, offer more supports and programs for our students and community, and improve infrastructure and facilities at all 3 buildings. I've helped to negotiate competitive wage and benefit packages. I've been involved in the one-to-one Chromebook initiative. I've supported added programs for our students and staff, from mental health services to summer school for students who need credit recovery. I've been amazed by the accomplishments of our students and our teachers. I believe they are the best in the county. I truly believe that. I'm running for election again to try to preserve and build on all the good work that has been accomplished in my previous 3 terms. I am a matter-of-fact board member who operates within the law and state statutes. Every decision made is made with the thought of what liability could this bring to the district. To operate in a careless, lawless manner, it only hurts our children, our employees, and our community in the long run. This makes it all so important to understand your role as a board member and to operate within it. And I just want to thank everybody again for having me.
Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Mark Leonard. I'm running for the school board. Now you said, well, Mark, you did this back from what, 89 to 2005. What's wrong with you? I'm not done yet. Now, one of the things about why I'm interested in the school board is, of course, the last career I had, I was an English teacher in Danville High School. And I got to see things from a different side than what the board sees. You know, a lot of times on the board, you miss things. One of the things I always liked to do when I was on the board was just to walk through the schools and see what was going on. You know, not to tell somebody how to teach. I just like to see what's going on, what pictures are in the hallways. Okay, but the other thing about it too is being a high school teacher, I saw things that board members don't see. You know, a lot of times they don't understand what the TAs do, what the cooks do, what the custodial staff does. And I think that's a really big thing because everybody's always teacher, 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 but what about the ESPs? I think that's a big thing you learn that. That was a big thing I learned because back when I was on the school board, you didn't think about things that way. One of the things I'm really big into also, this has to do with my career too, is I'm really big into teaching kids how to read. Not on computer programs, which I think is an abomination when it comes to teaching reading, but to actually sit down with a child face to face and work on reading. Because if a child can't read by 4th grade, the rest of their school career is going to be very, very bumpy. Kids learn to read from 1 to 3. From 4th grade on, they read to learn. And this is a really big thing of mine. Because why would we want to put kids through this? It's almost like a feedlot. We've got to get through the curriculum. We march on through it. And say, for instance, a young man can't read or a young woman can't read. Are they going to stay in school? Are they going to become behavior problems later on? This is a big deal with me. Another big deal with me, too, is with reading, is a lot of times we got to get kids to read for pleasure. Okay? A lot of kids hate to read. Thank you very much. I was getting wound up.
Go ahead.
I'm Kathy Jenkins. I'm from Georgetown, lived in Georgetown most of my life. I went to Georgetown schools. My 2 kids went to Georgetown schools. I graduated from nursing school and worked at Lakeview Hospital way back in the day. I retired at Blue Cross Blue Shield in December of 2012 as a senior manager. I had about 137 employees that worked for me in all different states, so I did a lot of traveling, a lot of flying from state to state. Was retired at that time, worked hard to retire early, and I had plans to do other things, and I was approached to run for political office, which was certainly never in my aspiration agenda. But I did run, and I became Berrien County Clerk in December 2014, was reelected in 2018, and again for my 3rd and last term this last November. I'm currently seeking the school board member as I have been approached by several individuals that it might be interesting for me and an opportunity for me. And so new eyes, I think, bring new ideas sometimes. I don't have an educator background, with my extensive managerial background and working with all types of individuals and dealing with political issues on a daily basis, I think kind of qualifies me for this position. I will do my very best to make sound decisions for the students and the teachers and everybody that's involved. There are qualified candidates running for these positions, which is very good to see. It does my heart good to know that you have a choice and you have a lot of qualified candidates on this board. So my suggestion to you is to please get out and vote those that match your principles overall and those that you think will do the kind of job you want to see done on your school board. Thanks. Thank you.
My name's Sam Forries. I'm a 02 graduate from Oakwood High School. I'm kind of the outsider here. It seems everybody's graduated from Georgetown. Married to my wife Amy for 13 years. We've lived in Georgetown for around 10. I have 2 children. My daughter Jordan's 13. She goes to Mary Miller Junior High. My son Ledger is 9 and goes to Pinecrest. Really, I'm a pretty straightforward guy. If you have questions, just ask. I'm kind of hard-headed at times. You can ask my wife. But I push my way through, and if I want to see results, I go for them. At my previous employer, I was on the union board. I was the union vice president. We dealt with the company side on our union contracts, our negotiations, discipline of employees. One of the main reasons I'm running for the board, I want to try to be a voice for the kids, the teachers, everybody in the community for this school. I want to make it great like it was when we used to come down here and compete against you guys in sports. It was a great atmosphere, a great place to be. Try to make it back to what it used to be.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Dollenberg. As a longtime resident and graduate of GHS, I'm vested in both Georgetown and Ridge Farm as a landowner, a taxpayer, taxpayer, a former educator, and farmer. I believe that there are many reasons to celebrate our schools here. As a member of the Building and Grounds Committee, my interest is to help oversee the completion of the ongoing building projects, which are near completion now. I'm also interested in exploring the development of an alternative access to the elementary school. We continue to work to recruit and retain teachers and currently are providing incentives for district students and employees to further their education and commit to GREA. I believe in the administration and the employees of this district. I believe the employees to be dedicated and focused on service. Gains in student attendance, graduation rates, academic and extracurricular successes illustrate this. Many awards and recognitions of both students and staff have been received that we can all be proud of. I participated as part of this team in efforts involving curricular choices, financial expenditures, staffing, teacher contract negotiations, and building and grounds agreements. Conclusions are based on what is best practice and what is best for this district. The financial status of the district has significantly improved, allowing for many of these upgrades. While many of these improvements are evident, many less obvious yet vital upgrades in safety and security have been made in all these buildings. Several programs and opportunities have also been implemented to assist families with the emphasis on the social and emotional needs of the students in this district. As a retired teacher and school administrator, I feel that my experiences are valuable, and having seen this district struggle in the recent past, I'm proud of the progress that has been made here. My desire is to continue to make efforts to increase opportunities for students in this district. I'm proud to live and work here, and I hope to continue to serve as a trustee in this school district. Thank you.
Well, my name is Larry Daly. Most of you know me as Betsy's husband. Sam, I'm actually went to Chrisman. I graduated from Chrisman High School back in the day. But I've been coming here since 1982, the first time I dropped Betsy off at the family farm. And that's been a long time. So I spend a lot of time up here on Sunday afternoons with my wife, my school. I've got 12 years of school board experience, 8 years as school board secretary, and as those 8 years where I was very heavily involved with the district finances. My forte is finance, 30 plus years as a banker and a farmer. I've owned daily farms down in Metcalf and Hume. And I've always been interested in education. As I told you at the firehouse, my grandmother actually taught at Ridge Farm. My mom taught at Enola. My two sisters taught school. Obviously, my wife does. So I'm interested in education. And I'm also interested in vocational education, not just books and computers. I think there's a side that, of students that we need to try to press on. Back as a kid, I was heavily involved with industrial arts. I almost became an architect, and I just think that there's things that we can do to help those particular people. I went to college. I got a degree from Purdue University. I went to graduate school of banking at the University of Colorado. But I didn't say I also got a trust degree. That was from the University of North Carolina, and then I got a couple other diplomas. So I've been around education, not necessarily the smartest guy anymore, but the finance part of it, I do understand school finance really, really well. I've been involved with school districts in both Illinois and Indiana. I've also been involved with building schools. So I've got a really good idea about bonding and how that works. When we bonded down at Chrisman back in the day when we did the junior high, I actually helped with that through the University of United Missouri Bank. Yeah,
Very much time.
So anyway, that's why I'm interested in it.
Thank you.
Hi, Good evening, I'm Connie Cannon. I'd like to take a moment and introduce myself to those that may not know me. I've lived in Georgetown for almost 35 years. I'm not a graduate like Sam and Larry. I am a graduate from Danville High School, and I will not say the year. I'm a current school board member. I was appointed to the board in November of 2021. I've worked in education for almost 22 years, working with the VEDS, currently it used to be called the VEDS VOTEC. Many people can remember the vocational classes. The VEDS is still involved with that. I work closely with the College Express program, where our juniors and seniors from throughout Vermilion County take career and tech ed vocational courses. In my job, currently I'm an administrative assistant. I work closely with the grants and the budgets. I do career awareness activities, including an upcoming activity we have in the summer, which is Kids Summer Camp. And I'm also the recording secretary for the VEDS Board of Control. As I mentioned, the Georgetown Richmond School District and community is really important to me. I have one daughter, Emily. She's employed here with Georgetown Richmond Schools as the school counselor here at the high school. And I have a beautiful granddaughter that's soon to be 5 months old. I anticipate, her and hopefully future grandchildren attending the schools here. And I believe that all of my past work experiences working in education with school boards. I was a union member back at VOTEC. I worked with career awareness activities. I was on the bargaining committee at one time with me at VOTEC. Working with the grants and the budgets are reasons why I'd like to continue to work with the Georgetown Richmond School Board. I want to see the school district thrive and continue with its fiscal stability, as well as retaining and recruiting qualified staff. When a student graduates from Georgetown Richmond Schools, whether they are going on to higher education, skilled training, or right into the workforce, I want them to be successful, and the educational foundation they receive here at Georgetown Richmond Schools is vital to that success.
You're fine. Jeff?
Hello, my name is Joe Bino. I'm a lifelong resident of the Ridge Farm, Richmond area. I actually went to Richmond High School, graduated in 1993, and I went to DAC to attend law enforcement classes, and an opportunity opened at Casey's. I was working there when I was in high school when they opened up Richmond, and just things presented itself, and I just went a whole different way. So after 30 years working for Casey's, I worked my way up to region director. I overseen the operations of 85 to 125 stores, depending on when we would move around, and really enjoyed that atmosphere. Being a leader over people and working with them to make them successful. And when my wife and I decided to get married, we wanted to live here in the Georgetown Reform area. So we bought a house, we settled down, have 4 beautiful children. Haley attends Mary Miller Junior High, and then Emily Tinley attends Pinecrest, and then Brody, he's 4, he started the pre-K there a few weeks back, so he's really enjoying himself. So I recently retired in October of 2022, looking at some new opportunities for myself. I've never had that opportunity to do whatever I wanted to do because I was tied up so much with work. So my wife kind of presented this to me a little bit, and when Mr. Renner passed away, I kind of had a little interest in it, but I wanted to make sure I could give my whole 100%. So now being free a little bit, having children in the district, I'm really concerned about being more involved and learning the new aspect of being a board member and what they do on a monthly basis or what have you. And I'm just really eager to help the fine folks that are on the board right now and make it even better if I can. So I bring some experience, like I said, with leadership. I've always been trusted, and with integrity, honesty. So I would just let that carry right into that's who I am. So that's what I would do.
Thank you.
So we will begin with our question and answer portion of this evening. I will be asking each board member 2 questions. I will tell you the number of the question before I read it. If you need it repeated before you answer, I would be more than happy to do that. Sure. Okay. So we'll begin with Joe Bino.
Okay.
This is question number 17.
What do you think is the greatest strength of the Georgetown Ridge Farm School District, and what evidence supports your opinion? You have 2 minutes.
In answering this, I put on there having a great report back on the mathematics for the districts. That shows that current teachers are doing a great job at teaching the students in spite of the teacher shortage. So I felt like that was a really good accomplishment for the district. That's my estimate.
Thank you. Connie, would you like it repeated? Oh, the same question. Same question.
It's the same question for everybody.
Okay. No, I think that the greatest strength in the school district is the staff. I see this over and over. And there's lots of, I don't think that, there's lots of things that are fantastic in the school district, but I really think that the staff is one of those. I see it over and over by staff going above and beyond all the time, whether they're staying late or the parent support team, the different things that they're doing. I just think the staff go above and beyond.
Larry, same question.
Same answer. I know because, as I said on here, I'm up here on Sunday afternoons. I know who's here and who's not. And there's a lot of people, a lot of staff members that come in and do the extra mile in this district, which is, I mean, that's really great. They're in these classrooms. They're in the gym. When I'm not in there, and I cheat to myself here. I practice fly fishing in there on Sunday. So anyway, I see a lot of people, and you know, it's all about people. And we've got some really good staff people here, and we want to continue that. We've got good people sitting right here, and we've been very blessed.
Thank you. Nancy?
Thank you. I agree that the staff is one of our greatest strengths in this district. I also think that in spite of many of the challenges with adequate staffing and uncertain state funding, the district has been successful in making significant improvements in financial as well as academic status. Without a doubt, under the current leadership, many achievements have greatly impacted the overall success of the district, and I believe that these accomplishments will increase student interest in programs and instill more pride in our district, and allow us to become more competitive in all aspects of extracurricular and educational programs.
Thank you. Sam?
I feel the strength of the district is the staff and the teachers of the district. I didn't mention it before in the introduction, but my wife is a kindergarten teacher, and there's many nights, Friday nights, she's not home till 7, 8 o'clock. Her 4 or 5 other teachers at the grade school, they're there putting in the extra time, putting their own money into their classrooms, buying things for the classroom so the kids have a good environment to learn in. They put their all into it. I just like to see it keep going that way. Maybe help them out a little bit, give them a little bit extra that they don't have to spend so much out of their pockets, or have the school pay them back, reimburse for some of the things in their classroom. They spend a lot of time, a lot of money. Some nights they come home, they're in tears because they've had a rough day and they don't know what to do. But they go back the next day because that's what they love to do for the kids.
Thank you. Kathy?
Well, I'm going to piggyback on the answers too, because without the staff and the teachers that are dedicated to teach these kids, it would never go as far as it's gone as it is. I'm not from the inside, so I see from the outside coming in, and what I see is people who really want to do a good job, that want to make good choices for the kids and the parents to try to make everybody happy, try to make the right decisions for everybody that benefits everybody overall, and I think that's important.
Thank you. Mark?
I've heard a lot of positive things about our building trades classes and about our agriculture program. These are 2 programs that I've heard good things said about them. The FFA is always in the forefront when it comes to social organizations. And I would say that most of the people that graduate from Wade Anderson's building trades program have jobs, because he does teach them what they need to do a good job.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Yeah, so the trend seems to be staff, and that's where I was headed as well. The answer is our staff. And you can speak to the strengths of our staff by just looking at the student body and the accomplishments that our student body makes year after year after year. Both teachers, students, administrators, they've all been awarded at many levels, all the way up to the state level. I've watched it in the last 7 years. And everybody forgets very quickly the financial gains that you've made. A lot of that is due to 9 to 10 years ago when this entire staff, they took voluntary pay freezes. And then there became a point, in 2016, 17, where we were able to start getting back to the staff, and we did. So it's our staff.
Thank you. Lori?
Well, I'm going to say the same thing. I know on the Pancrest side, I have spent some time down there with helping the children shop for Christmas presents for their parents and siblings, and there are always a lot of volunteers and teachers. I have seen teachers, like Sam said, spend their own money to make sure there were adequate gifts for everyone. I haven't been around the junior high or the high school nearly as much, but I know there are some excellent teachers in both buildings. So I think that's definitely a good thing for this district.
Okay, thank you. Our next question will be question number 25. And we'll begin with Lori and head back down. This question asks, what suggestions do you have for recruiting and retaining teachers and other staff in our school district?
Well, recruiting is always a challenge because without adequate pay and benefits, that makes it even more difficult to entice qualified teachers. Retaining, we would need to hopefully, if we could get adequate funding, beef up payroll. And I, again, not having been in this realm before, I really don't know what these salaries are. I do know we have lost teachers to District 118 in the past, and that makes me sad because those were some of the better qualified teachers. So looking at funding would be a good way to retain and recruit.
Thank you. Jeremy?
1 second. Can you make sure that we're all speaking loudly, please? They're saying I'm soft.
Maybe pass the microphone. Sorry, I know everybody doesn't really want to use it. But
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, okay, so first of all, I'd say we have to continue with the current programs that we put into place. We have a Grow Your Own program for some of our young people. We initiated a tuition reimbursement program, which has been beneficial to, they didn't tell me they love it. And so we have to convey that to the community. Us as board members, we have to convey the positive energy to the community, because that's not what the community believes of Georgetown Ridge Farm. Well, I know for a fact the community's wrong, or the county, I'm sorry. The county doesn't believe we're great, but we are. And so we have to get the word out there that we are. Just try to promote positive energy, continue to build on the programs we've established. And then, it has worked thus far. We've retained teachers, we've attracted new teachers, because our salaries are competitive now. They weren't at one time, but they are now. We're above the county average. And so just keep trending in that direction.
Thank you. Mark?
One of the things that I learned in my experience as a teacher is mentoring new teachers. This is something a lot of teachers don't really do, and we have to have people that have actually been there, done that, to explain how to do things, whether it's classroom management. What do I do when this boy does this? What do I do when this girl does this? I can't seem to get this through. You have an idea what's worked for you. What's the best practice to make so kids can learn. So mentoring is a really big thing. The other thing too is teacher education in dealing with poverty students. A lot of times we have middle class teachers coming in dealing with children that have different problems than we do. Okay, they might be personal problems, home problems, could be a number of things. Okay, but the big thing that I want to focus on this is our teachers have to be educated to reach the kids we have. A good example would be Ruby Payne does a nice book about poverty. There's other books out there, that deal with the subject, but we've got to reach the kids where they're at and make their education relevant for them. That's an important thing with a lot of these kids. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? You're not going to use it in life unless you're an aerospace engineer. You don't care about some of the higher math classes out there. Okay, but it's got to be, what can you relate to? What can we use later in life? Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, this came up actually as I took my first year in office in the county. The pay was one of those where we lost a lot of staff, and we would train them, and then they would jump to another job that was paid. I think we have to recognize that generations are a little different now. Used to, when you got a job back in my day, you stayed there and you retired there. You stayed 35 years and you retired with the gold watch and whatever pension they wanted to give you. It's different now, and I think we have to understand that when we start looking at people and hiring people, that you have to pay them to get them to stay. The loyalty that used to be, what we used to have when we started working, is not necessarily as high as it was at that point. Right now, it's people trying to take care of their families, and the money comes into play, and we have to pay them. And I think we have to figure out ways that we can provide incentives for them, and check with other school districts, check with other boards, check with other people, talk to retired teachers. Teaching is a tough job, and you are expected to take care of everybody else's children. I mean, it's one thing to take care of your own. To take care of a classroom of 35 kids that, you are all raised differently, and expect them to do that for a minuscule amount of money. The incentive is not going to be there, and they're not going to stay. And then if they get offered a bigger salary, they're going to go. So I think that has to be, I'm big on paying people to do a good job, and that's where I push my staff now, pushed it to where they are now, it's competitive, and we don't lose people anymore in the office. And I think that's what we have to do on all the jobs, and especially in the teaching area. I think school systems need to be taken a look at as overall.
Thank you. Sam?
I think we need to really look at why we're losing the teachers, try to figure out why they're leaving our district and going to a different district. Is it money? Is it benefits? Maybe it's just the kids, they don't like going with the Georgetown kids. You hear we don't want to go to Georgetown, those kids are bad down there. Maybe it's not. The kids aren't bad. Maybe look at some kind of sign-on bonus. They have to sign a contract, work for X amount of years, and if they don't, then they have to pay it back. I don't know, maybe better benefits, different things. There's other things you need to look at, bring it back to the board, discuss it. There's plenty of things you can look at and try to figure out why the teachers are leaving and try to keep them here.
Thank you. Nancy?
Thank you. I agree with Mark that a quality mentor induction program for teachers is vital to keeping your teachers satisfied and keeping them in your district and building. I also know that in the past couple of years, we've worked with administrators here in this district to make sure that you are creating a positive, welcoming culture within your building so that all your teachers feel like they're listened to and needed, and make them feel more home and comfortable within your building. So to induct and properly mentor teachers and then work with them for the culture within those buildings is vital to me.
Thank you. Larry?
Well, first of all, everything that all these folks said is true. What's going on. My personal opinion is it's going to take more effort, not only within the community, but really at the state level. Because the way schools are funded is, in my opinion, not necessarily correct. Do I have the answer for that? No. The state of Nebraska is just now coming out. Dr. Neal, you may know a little bit about this, but they're trying to do away with real estate taxes and move towards a competitive income tax that would fund a lot of the public services. I don't know if that's the answer or not. What's going on right now, and has for years, been very difficult to do, especially on the tax side. And I think we as a board would need to get involved with some creative ideas. We've talked about sales taxes. That's fine and dandy until you start talking with small businesses. They say, oh my gosh, here we go again. So there's a lot of issues that need to be looked at. And I do think things will change in the future, because I think they're going to have to from a national standpoint. And we'll probably see it in the next 10 years or so, or less. So I'm not sure that's an answer, but I think that there's going to be alternative methods to fund schools down the road. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. Connie. Of course, I think that the Grow Your Own and the tuition reimbursements are excellent programs that we have. I also think that administration of participating in the college fairs, as they did this past month at ISU, is also something really great. I believe that we need to remain competitive in our wages and benefits to retain teachers and staffs, and also to entice prospective employees. Getting even further back to maybe our students, the Illinois State Board of Education has given my employer a grant, the Education Career Pathway Grant, where we have a coordinator going out to the schools trying to talk with the students about getting into education. And I think working with that individual and working with that grant can maybe entice some of our students to go on into education.
Thank you. Joe?
I think it starts with the superintendent, as well as the board members, just digging in to kind of find out what the main cause is. Administrators have a responsibility to create a great place to work, a place where they're treated with dignity and respect. Must have open communication between all teachers and administrators. I feel like that the possibility of a sign-on bonus to create some buzz in the open position. Administrators should be ready to do like an orientation with a new teacher to make them feel that they're part of the team. Do the little things. That's what we did. Like Casey's, when we had a new manager come on board or a supervisor, we would make them a little like a goodie bag, and then kind of show them around the store and things like that. Just kind of show them we are glad you're here. You're a part of us. Let's see. I had administrators do the little things extra, so the teachers know that they talk positively about his or her welcoming, and they speak positive about coming to the school district. I can say also, just in hearing, and talking communication with other people in the area, that for some reason it was never. I hear teachers leaving, they go to Oakwood or they go to Westville. Why? I guess I don't know that answer, but it kind of bothers me at night, because if we have a teacher living here in town with a family, why is she not teaching here in Georgetown, right? I mean, I believe that we should look at the money again. I can't tell you what the starting salaries are, but I mean, as when we get hire people at Casey's, depending on their background, experience, we would have to maybe pay a little bit more to get that quality person. So I don't know if that works the same over here or not, but that's something that I think we just need to do to kind of get them past that first year and maybe really get them feeling good about our school district.
Thank you. This next portion of our question and answer session will be candidate choice of questions. So if you want to tell me the number of the question you're going to answer, I will read that question, and then you'll have 2 minutes to answer. Joe, we'll start with you when you're ready.
Number 13.
How would you determine budget priorities, or what would be your priorities in the budget?
I feel that we must work within the current feel that we should work within the current cash flow without stretching out too far. The safety and upgrading of our buildings is important. In deciding between a want and a must-have, I must take care of what is needed first.
Thank you. Connie? Question 22. What could your school district do to be a better place, to better prepare students as citizens?
I think providing an array of opportunities to the students is vital to helping prepare them for the future. Continuing to offer them career awareness activities so they can learn about the possibilities available to them and how to achieve these goals. Continuing career and technical education or vocational classes, and continuing to provide the best education foundation as possible so that the students can learn and grow are all things to prepare students for the future.
Thank you. Larry?
Number 18.
What is one change that you would like to see in the Georgetown Ridge Farm School District?
Well, the change that I would like to see is at the board level, administration level. I'd like to see reporting that 9 or 10 months ago, and the auditor gave his address, and he talked about the school bonding. Didn't know we had school bond, but apparently it was passed, and it was a big one, $6.5 million. And as I went through and talked to people in the community, they really didn't know. And I don't know how we report that now, but I would think that there would be a way to do that. And I think you have to need that open transparency. And that's what I'd like to see.
Thank you. Nancy?
Question 4.
What qualities or behaviors should a school board member exhibit?
I believe that board members must demonstrate integrity and a willingness to work and collaborate and function as a team and compromise. Trust in the district, its employees, its mission, and stakeholders is vital to the success of the board as a whole. Board members do not function individually, but as part of the group of 7. Members must maintain confidentiality when necessary and work exclusively with a focus on students. A successful board trusts one another. While differences will arise, members can compromise and work as a team to solve these differences and reach agreements that are beneficial to the district.
Thank you. Sam?
Number 7.
7?
Yes.
What has motivated you to want to serve on the GRF Board of Education?
What's really motivated me to serve on the Board of Education is just being around the community and hearing all the people in the community talk how bad it is, how bad the school district is, but they don't want to step up and try to make a change. So I want to, if I can get elected, I would like to try to help change and make it different and make it better.
Thank you. Kathy? 18. What is one change you would like to see in the Georgetown Ridge Farm School District?
I think this kind of goes for every place that I know of. This form was put together, and we thank you guys for doing that, but this place should be packed. There are people that I'm hearing all the time, and if you're on Facebook or you're out, and there's not one good thing that's being said, but you see nobody come here to do anything. You know, it'd be my thought that we need education, not just for the students, but for the parents, and education for the community, so that they get themselves involved, that they have buy-in to this too. It cannot be, everything cannot be put on the teachers. Things have got to be, community's got to be outreached as well. If we don't get support the community, and we don't get the needs from them as well, and the kids get it from home, then it's going to be very difficult for us to make the changes.
Thank you. Mark?
Let's go with 22, please.
What could your school district do to better prepare students as citizens?
I'm a strong advocate for vocational education. Let's face it, when a lot of kids are going to graduate, do they really know what they're going to do? Back when I was a kid, back when I graduated in '74, you had General Motors, you had factories, What are you going to do? We don't have those opportunities anymore. And one of the things I think we need to do is to start educating our kids in the junior high level to see what type of careers are out there. A lot of kids don't know. I don't think that's stressed enough. Even in the high school, we should be doing it their freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, so you know how to prepare for what it is you want to do. And then a lot of kids don't know too, there are similar occupations. There's more than just being a registered nurse. There's more to being a police officer. There's more to being an electrician, a plumber. There's lots of things out there if kids know where to look and how to look for it. Now, good place to look, onet.org, very good place. Business, the Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov, BLS.gov, excellent place to go. Kids need to see this so they can see what's out there waiting for them. They can set their dreams, they can get their focus, and they'll be less frustrated when they get out of school. They'll have purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Okay, I as well was question 22.
Would you like me to read that again?
You don't need to, unless you'd like to.
That's fine.
Okay, so continuing to promote alternative paths for students that aren't interested in a conventional path through college. We have an exceptional FFA program and building trades program as we speak. We're doing a lot of those things that Mark just mentioned, exposing kids to different paths after high school. We're exposing kids to some of those paths while they're in high school through some vocational programs. So we need to continue to promote the trades with our students. That's a very popular course here in the school, as well as the FFA. Trades like a pipe fitter, a steam fitter, electrician. We need to expose our children to the police work, fire. There's just so many different avenues that they're not always aware of. Especially some of the ones that are a little more obscure. For example, when you think of obscurity, I think of a farm. A lot of kids who didn't grow up on a farm, who had no experience or no exposure, they think of a farmer as just somebody that rides in a tractor all day, and that's really all they know of it. But there is this vast amount of opportunity there for children that they have no idea is even there. Children that don't come from farm families. In the last year or so here in the district, I have presented a plan. We're one of the few districts we're lucky in the fact that we own some tillable acreage. And I presented this idea to our administration, along with Mr. Howard, who instructs our FFA kids. Let's use those tillable acres and try to turn this FFA program into a program that's envied by the county. We've only found one other program in the state that's somewhat similar to what I envisioned. And we went and visited that program. It's Oak Hall Valley. It's absolutely amazing. These children are exposed to livestock. They're exposed to the everyday activity of farming, but then they're exposed to the agronomics and the economics of farming and the science behind some of it. So if we continue in these type of expansions here in the district, it'll give kids an opportunity to be exposed to some of those career paths that they would have never, otherwise they'd never known of. So, thank you.
Thank you. Lori?
Number 6.
What is the most important responsibility of a school board member?
I believe that nurturing the education of our students and making sure that they have the skills needed for success in their futures is very important and a big responsibility of a board member. Listening to the teachers and making sure that their needs are met as well so that they can properly educate their children.
Thank you. We do have time to do one more round of questions. So Lori, we'll begin with you when you're ready and make our way back down the table.
Okay. Number 3.
Number 3, how will you handle managing the time commitment of being a school board member?
Well, I'm very good at juggling. As I said, I'm a volunteer, and I don't think that there is a job more fulfilling than being a volunteer. So I did a lot of stuff while I was still working and had a career. So I'm retired now, so I've got even more time to juggle. So that's kind of how I plan to accomplish that.
Thank you. Jeremy?
How about question 16?
In the face of declining resources, what projects do you foresee for future bond elections?
Okay, so I can speak a little bit to the newest bonds. We actually were in a situation where we had expiring bonds. And so we essentially replaced those with our newest bond that Mr. Daly had mentioned. We did so without raising the tax rate. And so we have no more of a burden in that aspect from a payment perspective. We're fortunate in that we've completed most of the big ticket items in this district in the last 8 years or so. We've done all new roofs, boilers, air conditioning, site improvements, restrooms, all 3 science labs here at the high school, infrastructure improvements to allow for more server space, camera systems, new alarm systems. And then when you think of that bond, when you think of it from a longevity standpoint, we've structured all of these repairs in a timeline that allows us to approach them separately in the future. And so no one of those items, outside of an unnatural event that we can't control, no one of those items will have to be approached again in the next 15 years, but in combination. They'll be approached individually. Roofs are set to expire, 15 years later, then boilers are set to expire, and et cetera. And so from now till then, obviously alternative funding is going to be extremely important, and hopefully new sources of revenue to start to approach some of those building maintenance items. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
I want to go back to question 25, please. Question 25 is, what suggestions do you have for recruiting and retaining teachers and other staff in your school district?
There you go.
I like that one, because there's one thing I would like to say on this one. I've hired a few teachers back when I was on the board. When I taught at Danville High School, I met a lot of teachers, a lot of new teachers, a lot of old teachers. But one of the big things that I really think we should be looking for too is we need teachers not as warm body, but we want teachers that have a genuine love for students. That's a very important thing. I'd rather have teachers that can build relationships. I'd rather have teachers that had C's and B's and love children, so I made straight A's and they have no use for kids at all. I'm pretty sure we've got lots of good teachers like that here in this district that have a genuine love. But that's a big thing I'd be looking for in teacher interviews. Why should we hire you? Do you care about kids? And you can usually tell, because kids are really good about spotting those teachers that are just in there. They know who cares about them, and kids also know who doesn't. Thank you.
Kathy?
20.
What kind of relationship should the district and the board have with its community, with its parents and the families?
I think, and that you have to be a people person, you have to be a problem solver, you have to listen, you have to take a lot of things into account. And I think just being open, letting people know they can come to you with questions, letting them know they can ask. You may not know the answer. 9 times out of 10, I probably won't. But I certainly would say, I'll find out, we'll check it out, we'll get back with you. And I do exactly that. You get back with them. You do what you say you're going to do, and you treat them with respect, and hopefully it will be an improvement overall. So.
Thank you. Sam? Due to the financial status of our state and the dwindling funds for public education, what ideas do you have to increase revenue?
There's always the opportunity to apply for grants from the federal government. Avoid the unneeded hiring of employees when you have qualified employees in the district. Why pay another salary, another set of benefits when you can give that person a stipend or a slight pay increase and they can do both jobs. As for the penny tax, I have mixed feelings on it. It would be good to help get funds into our district, but I also realize we live in a lower income area and it would be harder for some families to pay this tax. And that also could cause families to move out of the district. And we don't want to see families move out of the district. We don't want to lose children in our district.
Thank you. Nancy?
5, please.
What do you think the role of the school board should be?
We are trustees of the district, and the role is clearly defined within the Illinois Association of School Boards and in many other statutes that exist within the Illinois School Code and the Illinois State Board of Education. The IASB and other organizations guide districts and provide a framework of policies already agreed upon by the state of Illinois. The role of the school board is to oversee finance, create and adopt policy, and hire superintendent. The superintendent is then charged with overseeing and managing the district. Members of the community running for school board must also be thoughtful and aware of the school culture in their community. Decisions should be contemplated with regard to the community and school needs and desires. Focus on student achievement is huge as a board member. That drives what we purchase for equipment and curricular materials for students. We need to know the culture and the needs of our communities, both Ridge Farm and Georgetown. And a sound school culture where classes are conducive to learning is what we all strive to meet in all buildings. Successful boards have a collaborative relationship with staff and community as well. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I've got 12 years experience on board.
Can you use the microphone, please? Thank you.
First, I got 12 years experience on a school board. I've got 30 plus years working with bank boards. Also served as a bank director. So I've got a pretty good idea of how the board should run and how to work within that group of people. Frankly, folks, it's not all peaches and cream. You know, there's days where it's not as good as the next day. So we have to learn how to deal with that. We have to learn how to listen to people. We have to learn how to understand their points of view. And we need to come to common ground. And I think that's something that would help down the road. Those are experiences that I got.
Thank you. Connie. Question 21. How do you plan to improve communication and participation with parents and other caregivers? Recently, there's been an increase in providing more social media announcements and improved communication about all the good things going on in the school, and I think that'd be great for that to continue. Also, continuing with the parent support team. It's a great way for administration, staff, and parents to work together to communicate and support the students and the parents in the district. And I think that there's continuing. Thank you.
Thank you. And final question for the evening, Joe.
23.
When faced with conflicting interests, how would you find balance among the bargaining unit members, administrators, parents, and other school board members?
I feel wholeheartedly that the students should always come first. I feel when conflicts arise, everyone deserves to be heard and given a voice. Being able to find a middle ground at times and being able to work with all those involved. Digging in and drawing a line in the sand is not productive at all. Coming together for the students is what is needed.
Thank you. We are now going to give you an opportunity to present final closing comments. You will each have a 2-minute time. Joe, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Thank you again for inviting us. Appreciate the forum and we can get our word out. I feel like there's probably more stuff on here I wanted to go through, but something else I wanted to bring up. Just I know bullying is a big issue too. I didn't get to pick that one out, my question, but I think we've made great strides on bullying. But I feel like I have children here and I see it, pretty regularly. Having something that we can teach these young kids just to get along better, instead of calling them out for little things, whether you're a big person, a small person, you're short, you're tall. Maybe there's something we can do as a group too, to look at how can we do it, make it better for all kids. the recent loss there in Covington, you know, that comes to mind, I guess. And I remember back years ago, there was an incident in Ridge Farm there. And like I said, I think we've gotten better at it, but it still goes on. I don't know the full answer yet, but now being interested about being on the board, and that's something that I want to look at as well. Again, I appreciate everyone's time. Appreciate everyone's vote. Just vote on your heart and who you feel like that would do the best job for you. And if that still would be me, I would love to go to work for you guys. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Connie. I would just like to, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank you for having this forum for us to kind of get our, like Joe had said, get our information and talk a little bit about ourselves. I'd also just like to reiterate that you know, some of my past experiences working with education and being a member of the school board. I'd like to continue working with the school board, and I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry?
Well, again, thank you for your forum here, and by the way, I'm very interested in the job. Please vote for me. So, with that said, you know, there was a comment about county and state awards with our teachers. By the way, we just had a national award for your science biology teacher in the high school, correct? Give that 2 cents. I'm very interested in education, as I've stated earlier. I think I have some of the skills that will help the district. And with that, get out and vote.
Thank you. Nancy?
I also am on the board currently and would like to serve one more term. We've made significant improvement in all areas in the past few years here at Georgetown Ridge Farm, and I've enjoyed being part of that. Without a doubt, there's been management and effective financial planning that has come into play for there. As said before, we've experienced much success in academic and extracurricular programs, and our staff has also enjoyed noteworthy recognition. These successes have resulted in a source of pride for students and staff here that is notable and palatable. My hope is that with gains in school pride and achievements in academics and extracurriculars, community support, our district will become a more attractive as a workplace. And we struggle for teachers just like all other districts in the area, but I'm hoping that ours will become more attractive and we can hire some young teachers to this district that will stay here. It's also my hope that whoever is elected to serve on this school board will remain focused on serving the students to the best of their ability without personal plans, but plans to continue to work as part of a team focused on the betterment of this district. Our communities deserve no less. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank the union for having this forum again. Get everybody out, get our opinions on the questions. I think anybody that's up here tonight, all the candidates would make a good board member. Next Tuesday, just go out, vote with your heart, vote with who you think will try to make a change and help make this district back the way it should be.
Thank you. Kathy?
Thank you for having this evening. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Everybody here on this, I'm very impressed with everybody here. Everybody brings to the table a little bit of specific things that they can contribute to making the board a great board. And so I encourage you to go out and vote for those that follow your principles overall. And we'll see you on voting day.
Thank you. Mark?
Thank you, before I forget to say that. You know where I stand on reading education. You know, reading's fundamental. I know that we hear that over and over and over, but you know where I stand on reading. You know where I stand on vocational education. You know where I stand when I'm when I say when I'm going to hire teachers. What am I looking for? You know where I stand when I talk about the importance of building these student-teacher relationships. You know where I stand when it comes to the ESPs. They're very vital to this school. You know where I stand when it comes to success after school. But one thing I want to mention too in here is I would love to see consumer education move to the senior year. For the simple reason is consumer education, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but we always have that in the sophomore year after driver ed. We have 9 weeks of consumer education and 9 weeks of health. Well, you forget these things by the time you become a senior. So I'd love to see consumer education move to the senior year where it's more fresh on their mind. How do you read a contract? How do you buy a car? If you're going to rent an apartment, what do you look for? What don't you look for? And you also know where I stand too on how do I want to put this to be nice. I want the kids, I want the district to be the best it can be. I don't want us lowering standards to raise graduation rates. I want the standard, the bar to always be high. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Okay, so again, thanks for having me. I want to say good luck to all the candidates up here. I think you'll find good candidates to choose from. I'm sure that you will all choose wisely. I've been on this board since 2016. I have a lot of experience. I've had a lot of good experiences with the staff, students, administrators alike in this district. And I'd like to continue all that good work. I've had a hand in all the positive things that we've talked about tonight. You know, I've had a hand in those items taking place. So I'll conclude with one thought. It's important to realize our employees and our students, they're our most valuable asset, and I will continue to support them to the best of my ability if re-elected. I'm truly dedicated to this district and community alike. I look forward to serving on this board for another term if you'll have me. Thanks.
Thank you. Lori?
Again, thank you for putting this on tonight. It gave us an opportunity to voice our ideas to the public. Go out next Tuesday and vote your heart is all I can say. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our evening. We want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and please enjoy some refreshments. And thank you once again.